for Life Facebook page. You can check us out there. Yeah, hi everybody. Hello.
Hello, Donae. Again.
Hello.
You look very fashionable,
You
my
do.
love.
She is like, she has a jean jacket on. She has her Chanel pins, and the jean jacket is kind of cut up the slits.
Mm-hmm.
At the sides. It's like venting.
And I even have the monogram on the back.
I know.
It's all about personalizing.
There you go. And it says Contessa.
Ah, I love the slits. I love the glasses.
I do
The glasses are fine.
I know.
I told Joy I'm aging gracefully.
Hello. You look the same. Donae and I go back for a long time, over a decade. And, girl, you look the same.
Aw, thank you. I try hard. It's that young man over there, my husband.
And the beautiful daughter of yours, I'm sure, keeps
I know.
who is also very fashionable as well.
And she's coming in here with shorts on and little poofy sneakers. I'm having fashion envy right now.
She's a fashion style profile for you.
All right, so last week we ran a rerun show, and it was nice to have a little.
You
break.
were a little.
Yeah, I've been under the weather. This. People are kind of germy right about now.
It's allergy season. It's a change of season.
I ended up with strep, then bronchitis, then I'm better. So it's just been a rough couple of weeks, but I've turned the corner and I can breathe again and I can talk again and everything.
Yeah,
so.
you couldn't even talk there for a while.
I couldn't. I couldn't. It was just like, and I thought I had survived the flu season because I got my flu shot. I was really proud of myself.
I don't take the flu shot.
I do.
Donae, do you take the flu shot?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Bella took it and she had the flu anyway. But
yeah.
It's still, they say it makes it shorter.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't prevent you from getting it. So I
Yeah.
encourage people to do it.
Yeah. So I just, I'm doing a lot better. I have some news. So I was just elected to our civic association. I'm the president.
Oh, yay!
All right. Okay, so okay, so what that means is basically I will be bugging my neighbors to make some positive things happen in our third ward community. So I'm pretty proud. I'm third ward native. So is Beyonce.
Oh.
And I just I'm proud of our community, our neighborhood, and we're making some really positive change.
Boy, that haven't quit.
I know, but I've been working with them for the last year, and what I learned, and especially through Harvey, because one of my house was one of the few houses that had power on the block. So everybody would come to my house to charge their phones and do things like that.
That sounds like a song. Power in the block.
and I got to meet a lot of people that way. And then since I've been active, I've just met neighbors and people who don't have the time to be active, or they're older and they just want information. And I think that's our goal, is really to arm them with information that they make good decisions about their property, about their neighborhood.
You do that already.
Yeah.
With your job, your day job.
I know, I do.
And here.
And here. So it's just another
venue or outlet.
Way. So
well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Ding, 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 ding.
Thank you. Okay, so let's...
So, I bet you everybody's got to have their block cleaned out.
You know what? I'll be the block police.
Yeah, right.
No.
Well, especially with animals. Because you have that animal issue.
I know, we do have animal issues.
Well, that's anywhere.
Anyway, all right. So, okay, let's get into hot topics.
Okay.
All right. So, all right. J-Lo, who is fabulous.
J-Lo.
Do you follow J-Lo on Instagram?
I do not.
I do.
She's fabulous.
She is.
So she has a line. She's just getting into a beauty line, and I didn't know that. So she's had that line of Kohl's for many years, and I bought some things, and I thought they were cute. So now she has a makeup line with about 70 products, and they're like blushes. Oops.
Go ahead.
we had a little spill in the studio. Nail polishes, bronzers, lipsticks, and they're all pretty affordable, around $8.50 up to $59. So it's nice to see her kind of branch out into this area. What do you think about celebrities and makeup lines? And do you buy any of this?
They're banking. Everybody's doing it.
What I like so much about J-Lo is she is so committed to being successful, to dancing her heart out.
Yeah.
I heard that she doesn't drink alcohol.
No.
She's so pure in the way she approaches it, truly as a professional.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes you think about those guys you always read about, oh, they're out partying or they're doing this and that. She seems so true and passionate
Right.
about what she's doing.
Right.
So she's someone who I would buy her product because
Yeah.
I think
She
looking-
walks the walk.
yeah, she's not just talking about it.
Yeah.
She is living it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And she has a signature look. Like J.Lo has a glow, a
She
look
does.
like nobody else. And it's her brand. It's
Yes,
her.
and she's so fit in what she does and the way she approaches it. So I'm kind of a fan.
Good.
I'm impressed with the way she does what
If
she
I was a
does.
woman, I definitely would buy it because
Yeah.
you know you're not going to go bad or wrong with her makeup because it is going to be good quality.
Well, speaking of if you were a woman, if you're a man, there's makeup for men. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay, so
makeup.
this is crazy. So apparently men are getting into the makeup, and it's not just gay men. These are straight men who want, who I'm not going to say
Or
that.
drag queens.
Or, yeah, not just gay men or drag queens. So, and they want to have makeup to cover their little flaws. So there is a Toronto-based person who, Andrew Grella, who is coming out with a line of makeup for men called For Men. For Men. And it's a line of concealers and all kinds of powders and things like that.
Some basic things.
Because apparently his, there was a teenager, I'm not sure if it was a son or whatever, who was complaining about his complexion and wanted some makeup for a boy. So, Donae, what do you think?
As she looks at her husband.
As she looks at her husband. Her husband has this look like hell to the no.
Yeah. It took me a while even to wear a pocket square, so I don't know if he's going to be embracing the makeup trend. But I will say, he moisturizes every day. He has his chapstick in his pocket.
We're live on the radio. And
it looks like he wears blush because he's a bright shade of pink right now.
That's the alcohol.
Keeps our marriage going. A little wine every day doesn't hurt anybody. No, but I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, I would struggle if I didn't have a little cover up under my eyes, and I can see a man wanting that. But I just don't see it
I have
going.
a question for you though, ladies.
Yes.
Would that be a turnoff for you?
Yes.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't have
There
a
was no
hard time.
hesitation in that.
I have a hard time with it.
Because here's I don't wear a whole lot of makeup anyway. So if I'm dating a man who wears more makeup than me, there is a problem.
Oh yeah, that would be a turnoff.
And that's a problem.
Yes, I'd struggle with
Yeah,
that.
but this line is not talking about drag queen music.
No.
It's talking about,
Just the
touch up
basics,
basic,
yes,
puffy eyes, dark circles,
Yes,
little,
yeah.
Here and there. But it would be a turnout for you guys.
Yeah.
Especially if
I'd
you like
struggle
rubbing
with
cheeks
it.
and his color not mixing with yours.
Yeah.
Kind of like, and maybe you're this way, Joy, is I never wanted to go out with a guy that weighed less than me or whose jeans were a size smaller than mine. It just would have been a rough thing for me.
So you don't think that's a double standard?
It might be.
It might be.
It is. I mean, let's think
What
about
about you,
it.
Joy? What do you think?
I just don't like it.
Yeah.
It's not a deal breaker for me, although I'm right with y'all. I'm not wanting to have somebody fully caked on pancake makeup. If they have a little concealer here and there and doesn't look like they're wearing makeup,
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But it is a turn off for me, just like, just like long nails are a turn off.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be overdone.
Yeah.
But I think y'all are giving me a little double standard.
Okay, well, moving on. And moving on. All right, so we always do like a joyful award, like something in the news that's kind of joyful and happy. And I actually have two, and I don't know if I'll have time to tell you both of them. But,
We got time.
Okay, so there's a group of women. It's called Girl Trek, and they are one of the largest public health movements for Black women and girls in the U.S. And they are they have these walking events, and so they walk. So that group of women walked 100 miles along the Underground Railroad in tribute to
Yeah.
Harriet Tubman, and they did it in 5 days. Isn't that pretty phenomenal?
so empowering.
Yeah.
I think
Wow.
to follow in whatever footsteps
Yes.
is just
Isn't
the
it?
best way to feel the
Right.
journey and embrace it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It was so, and then you could see on the video that they were crying and just they were very moved by it. And then the second one is this guy. He loves his rescue dogs so much. He rescued 6 dogs from shelters, and he quit his day job, got an RV. Has all the dogs loaded up, and they go to shelters around the country and host events for adoption of dogs, and he pays the adoption fees.
Oh,
Isn't that sweet?
that is real
I
sweet.
love it when a dog and
I know.
cat has a new home.
I know.
Just warms my heart.
I know.
Because-
That's great. He
Isn't
must
it?
be like financially well off
I
to
know.
do that
I would do
because
that if
that's
I had-
like
yeah.
if I had the money,
I would do
I'd
that.
travel the United States with my dog too.
Yeah, I do.
But that's a great, good joyful award.
Okay, joyful awards. All
Love
right.
animals.
All right, when we come up, coming up next, we have Grammy-nominated jazz saxophonist Antonio Hart, a good friend of mine. He's calling in from New York. Hopefully he's not under the snow and everything, but he's going to take that time out to talk about his love for jazz, his evolution, and it's Jazz Appreciation Month.
I love me some jazz,
Me too.
smooth
All right,
jazz.
We'll be right back to the Joyful Life.
That was wrong with me. If I hug him,
I was
put
just
makeup on me.
Yeah,
Oh, y'all are in bed.
He puts,
Y'all,
if he puts
y'all are
makeup
in bed.
on me,
And you're rolling over and has his makeup getting on your bed sheets.
That's pretty
I
wrong.
think that
I think that's funny.
just like I don't like a man who grooms more than I do. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just too much.
Manscaping's okay?
Manscaping, but not over. Or you are in the mirror more than I am, or you are, you're
Crimping more than me.
crimping.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. What do y'all think? I want somebody to give me
I-
some opinions
I know.
on man makeup.
Man, what did you call it? Manscaping?
No, manscaping's when you're trimming the body hair.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
You know what? I dated a guy once. He had so much hair, and I used to have to shear him. No, really, like the back. Like
I had to do that at baby too. I mean, sorry.
Do we have a time delay? We need a little time delay.
I did that to
But I'm sorry, when you have that kind of body hair, and it's coming out of the back of
Yeah,
your
it's not
shirt,
attractive.
and it's coming
You
out
need
like
some help,
and
yes.
it's coming out like here. So I had to go like shear, like a shear.
like a weed eater.
I'm not going to share stories, Rob. Don't worry. I'll just sit over here with
Weed eater.
Oh, wait. Oh, can you call Antonio?
We still have another song,
Okay.
so I'll
Okay,
wait.
good. Is this Antonio? That's not Antonio. That's not Antonio.
No,
No,
it's not
that's,
him,
what,
but
that's
he's
the
next.
one I told you I wanted to move. I wanted
Oh,
the
okay.
other one.
Well, we'll play him closer
Yeah.
to him.
Well, at least on right after him, we should.
Yeah.
Play.
So you want to come back after this?
Yeah.
song?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next.
All right, Facebook.
So the
Would you
next
date
song is
somebody with
Antonio.
makeup?
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Or
we'll go to his.
would you date a male
Yeah,
wearing
okay.
makeup?
What's that? Todd.
See, that's Facebook. That's
Look at Todd.
That's an
He clicked on something.
Okay, first of all, this is an ad for underwear, and she automatically assumes some negative things. It's just an ad. Agreed.
Zuckerberg knows exactly what you're looking at.
You know what? That's why I want to delete my Facebook. Okay? Shoot, they're watching and spying on us everywhere. And I don't know. I think they're spying everywhere. All the apps are spying on us.
I know, they're just picking on Facebook, but they're probably all
I thought the-
listening and watching and looking.
Watching the hearings made every representative look like a fool.
Really?
Like they were in,
I haven't been watching it.
They look
I
like
haven't
old
watched it either, but
fossils
I've
who
heard-
weren't even in touch with how the internet
how it
and
works,
technology work. The questions were stupid. I can't believe that their assistants, who should have been younger people, would have caught that. I mean, they look like fools. I mean, the idiotic questions. It was just, and Mark Zuckerberg, he had to he had that 30-second delay in his mindset because he was like pausing and thinking before he was spitting things out because he was really wanting to say, "Are you freaking kidding me? You're asking me that stupid question?" Because that's what you could tell.
So what kind of questions were they asking?
If they weren't even understanding what apps do what, like what up, what's app,
What up? They're like, what's up?
What up?
What's that?
or you know.
Well, they said, will you tell us what hotel you're staying in? Why would you tell someone what hotel we're staying in? And basically, you only tell someone what hotel you're staying in if you check in at that app. It doesn't naturally come up. So they didn't even know enough about how Facebook worked and the interactions of it to know that it's not naturally put out there, that it's only put out there if you want it put out there.
That's crazy.
So
crazy.
what Rob and I do is if we're staying at a Hampton Inn and we drive by a Ritz-Carlton, we'll like check in and say we're at the Ritz-Carlton. And I'm like, oh yeah, staying at the Ritz-Carlton as we're on our way to the Hampton Inn. Is that great? Everybody's like, how's the Ritz-Carlton? I'm like, oh, it's beautiful.
That's funny.
Can you call him now?
Yeah, we're gonna come back on top of this song.
That's hysterical.
But this song
Isn't
just
that
started,
funny?
So I want to
Yes.
give it
Just jack with people to
Okay,
see
yeah.
who's really paying attention out there.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I'm just kidding. You're staying at the Hampton Inn.
I'm gonna do that next time. I'm gonna be at like Hotel 8, whatever, Motel 8, and be checked in at the Ritz-Carlton.
Have y'all ever checked in somewhere where y'all not?
Really not.
I haven't. I've never done that.
You haven't? It's hilarious.
That is so funny. I'm gonna do that. I love that.
So what do?
Check in somewhere where you haven't.
So if you're going out of town or whatever, you're checking at the Ritz-Carlton, but you're staying at the
Have y'all?
at the Cono Lodge.
Hi, Derek Wells. You can hear us. Goodbye to
Mixing it up. Keep it fun.
Hey, Pasadena.
Hopefully it's
The
warmer.
original place of Urban Cowboy, which was Gillies.
Bud and Sissy.
Fine, forget it. That's a little history from some people. You probably don't know what that is, right? Urban Cowboy? Urban Cowboy? Urban Cowboy?
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you don't?
I know what that is.
No, the
okay,
funny
thank
thing
you.
is,
I might take your Houston card away.
well, you know, we buy so many vintage things. Someone just came in with the old Gillies belt buckle.
Really?
That Rob has. We gotta
Oh
hook him
my
up with
God.
that.
How much
Isn't
is
that
that?
great? It's not for sale, but you might be able to borrow it.
I need that for a fashion editorial.
Oh, you do? Oh, good.
Seriously.
We'll hook you up with that. It's good Texas trivia.
Yeah, that's
Isn't
great.
it?
That's good.
And this week, speaking of Texas trivia, I just went to the Astrodome homecoming.
Oh, how
Did you
was-
guys see that?
I would have loved to grab one of their seats
I'm gonna put this
or
down.
some kind of memorabilia.
I know. So Phoebe Tudor is working with a few other people, and she opened a foundation to restore
And I
the
wanna get you
Astrodome.
closer.
And we went this week, and it was so great to be in that space.
Me too. I'm sorry.
But it was so emotional to
That's
be
great.
in there and see
Yeah.
so many memories
My
came
favorite
flooding
movie-
back.
But you know
With,
what? So the first
um,
time I was at the Astrodome, I saw
Bears.
the
Yes!
Jackson
That was
Five.
exactly
When I was
what
a kid,
thinking.
I went to see
Oh,
at the
that gave me
Oh,
chills
really?
when you said
Rodeo.
that.
Yes,
Around,
we saw the
around.
Jackson Five, and
I
I was
love
I
it.
was young.
Anybody know what
but
that
it
was?
So
The baseball?
fun. Yeah, yeah.
So we had
Old
season
movie.
tickets back in the 70s to the Astros.
Is he there?
Yes, but the phone lines are buzzing really loud, so he can't really hear what I'm saying.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but once we bring him on air, it'll clear up.
Okay, all right.
But he doesn't know what I'm saying to him right now.
Okay. Just
So.
Can we just
I'm gonna text him
explain
and
that to him?
just text him and
Explain
say
that to him
hello.
now?
Yeah, just
And we can fade out and
stand by. Yeah,
Okay, how many minutes?
a minute.
Okay. Hold on 1 minute.
All right, guys, you need some smooth jazz.
He's
I
not
love me
don't
some jazz.
no, it's not smooth jazz. No, don't. Let's
Oh,
not
well,
get.
you
Let's
should-
not.
you
Let's
like-
not.
you better correct
Let's
yourself.
not get. No, he's a Listen, this is a traditional. He's traditionalist. It's not smooth jazz.
Okay.
This is
Did y'all know that?
This is the real deal.
The real deal pickle?
Yes. This is
Okay.
not the jazz light.
Huh?
Just want to let you
I've
know.
been schooled. Okay. It ain't
Jazz
smooth,
light.
it's jazz OG.
OG. The OG jazz.
Oh, dang. You just got his new
OG
label.
A new hashtag.
The OG jazz.
You want to text him and then.
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So what's your best dome memory? Todd Ramos?
What song is this of his?
Down and up.
What song is this of his?
Down,
Down
and
and
up.
out.
Huh?
Down and up. Yeah.
Down and out. Down and out. Thinking of Beverly Hills. Mine was probably the Houston Oilers football game. We're gonna huff, we're gonna puff, we're gonna tear the wall down. You remember that?
I just remember Love You Blue.
I don't remember that one.
That was when we were going to the playoffs. Houston
Do you want to
Oilers.
fade out?
No.
Bump
Okay,
those
go ahead and
feet.
come back.
I remember. Oh, Bump
Bump
Phillips.
Phillips.
OA. Bump
Okay, Todd, you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wanna do it?
Go ahead.
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to The Joyful Life on amazing 102.5 FM.
It is Jazz Appreciation Month, and to celebrate jazz appreciation, oh my
Say-
God,
Appreciation.
Month, I called a good friend of mine, Antonio Hart. He's in New York, and he is a jazz saxophonist, Grammy nominated. He also is a full professor at Queens College, where he has his master's degree, where he got his master's degree. Has a long, amazing career in traveling the globe, playing and educating a younger generation of jazz masters. Antonio,
Welcome, Antonio.
hey, how are you doing? How is New York? Are you in? Is it snowing up there?
Man, it's about 75 degrees.
Oh.
Oh.
It's really beautiful today, but
It's-
I'm actually in my Kung Fu school right now. Just waiting to talk to you guys.
It's warmer up there
Well,
than it is
so
here.
he's multi-talented. He plays the saxophone and he also is into martial arts. So.
Oh, hey, we're
right.
going to mess with him.
So, Antonio, tell us, how did you get into playing the saxophone growing up?
Well, growing up in Baltimore, we had a band that came to my elementary school, and I just saw this guy on the stage playing this instrument. I didn't know what it was, but it just resonated with me, and I said, whatever that thing is, I want to play that. And, I found a music teacher and found out it was a saxophone and started, playing in the bands in elementary school and through junior high school, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until I went to high school, I went to Performing Arts High School, and that's where I really got my first formal training, had a private teacher, and started studying theory and the history of music, but it was more of a European classical tradition, not jazz. I didn't really start getting into jazz until I went to college, and I got into jazz primarily because I didn't see many people that looked like me playing saxophone with symphony orchestra. But then I started listening to jazz, and I saw so many people that looked like me, and then this whole idea of improvisation really intrigued me, where I can think of something on my own without reading just on the page. And from the time I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, it's been just like a Cinderella, trip. I never planned any of this, I never dreamt any of it, and I'm just so thankful.
Who was your saxophonist admirer? Who did you look up to?
I mean, there were so many. I mean, at that time, as a young kid coming up, I listened to whatever was on the radio. Like people, it's funny. It's a clip of this guy on the internet. He plays saxophone. He plays Careless Whisper, George Microphone, and he goes around as a parody. Everybody's like, he's a musical genius, And it's funny because that was the song I used to play in the dance studio for the little dance for the girls. I would play that little saxophone player that played with Sade.
Smooth operator.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that was popular on the radio, that's what I was listening to. But I guess the first main influence would have to be Grover Washington Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the guy, and that was before I discovered people like Charlie Parker and Sonny Stitt, John Coltrane, and the masters of that particular idiom. But Grover Washington was somebody who's really special, and I have a great memory with him. That one year, the year I got nominated for the Grammy, I took my mom to the Grammys, and I wasn't really into it. I'm not into all that kind of stuff, and we're sitting there and Puff Daddy's running up and down the aisle. I don't know if you remember that year. That's the year that Old Dirty Bastard came on the stage. So anyway, so we're there, and I'm like, I'm totally over it, but I had to play an after party. So we're walking, and I see Grover Washington Jr. and yet all these people around him, and I was like, I have to speak to him. And we've done recording projects, but we didn't meet each other. Like, we were on the same CD. So I walked up to him, and I was behind him. I tapped him on his shoulder, and he turned around kind of annoyed, like, who's tapping him? I said, Mr. Washington, my name's Antonio Hart. He said, Antonio, I know you. And he gave me the biggest hug in the world. And I was like, oh, my God, I just got hugged by, like, saxophone guys. And he had, he passed away shortly after that, but that was one of the greatest memories of my life. One of them. I have so many, but just to meet him, just for that brief second, and to be acknowledged by a master, somebody that they respect it. That really something I'll never forget.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. I never met him, but I've always been a fan of his music. So, hey,
He was a great guy, great man.
tell us, because you also teach. Why did you want to get into teaching jazz and teaching music?
I mean, that was my goal. Actually.
Was it?
Yeah, because I started playing jazz late, as I told you. A lot of my friends that went to Berkeley that have been playing it for many years, like Roy Hargrove, Duff Keys, or guys that are like icons on the scene now. They started much younger than me, so I went the path of education. I said, well, I'll do performance, but I'll get a degree in music ed, and then I'll get my master's and get my PhD, and probably go back to Baltimore and just be a music teacher. That was the actual plan. So, but like halfway through my undergraduate, I hooked up with Roy Hargrove, famous trumpet player, and he had got signed to RCA, and he asked me to join his band, and that was the beginning of it, of us traveling around the world and recording. And then, shortly thereafter, RCA signed me to a record contract. So then I had my thing, and I did end up going to graduate school, as you said. I was on the road doing papers and writing big band arrangements, and all my boys were partying and having.
You were studying.
Yeah, I actually had no choice. I wasn't going to go to Timmy Heat's office or Donald Bird's office and not have my work done. I had too much respect for them and myself. And, consequently, I got my degree, and once I, had been on the road for several years, my teacher was retiring, Timmy Heath, and he asked me would I consider coming into academia, and I was like, yeah, because, the road wasn't something, like I said, I dreamt of, and it's great, it's fun, but it's a hard lifestyle.
Right.
So I started teaching part-time and going on the road part-time, went to full-time, and 18 years later, I'm a full professor, a 10-year professor, and I still get a chance to go on the road and do the things I want, and it allows me to say no to a lot of things, knowing that, financially I'm not really worried, and it's given me another avenue of recognition or of exposure, because I teach and at these seminars and clinics all over the world. Like I'm about to do one. I'm leaving for Colorado next week, and I'm going straight from Colorado to Argentina.
Wow.
And then I'm going to Singapore, and then to Taiwan. And I've been going back and forth with Asia a lot in the last 5-6 years. And it's a lot of teaching, a lot of cultural exchange, as well as performing. So it's been a lot of me giving and getting back in that realm. And being in academia actually gave me that credibility to be one of the people that open up that exposure to American jazz in Asia.
Well, I'm always fascinated by him, because I will get a Facebook message and he says, I'm in Tokyo, or I'm in somewhere else. And what I find is interesting is that these cultures that didn't grow up with jazz, and jazz was born here in the U.S. in the African American tradition, and that they have such an appreciation for that. And how does that happen?
I think it's the spiritual aspect of the music, the integrity of the music that comes across to people. I mean, people don't know what's going on technically. They might get excited by seeing the saxophone player who has amazing technique, or something in the music that gravitates towards. But I think it's more the spiritual side of the music that captures people. I mean, you got to think I'm in China somewhere they don't speak English.
No.
Or I'm in these places, but there's something about that music, that experience, that it's hard to just put it into words, but it's something that's very grassroots, very human, that everybody can connect with. Everybody has, what we call the blues, however you call it, but everybody has up times and bad times and happy times, and we go through all those emotions, and I think this particular music allows people to tap into that, and it always has. And the people the masters that created this music created it with so much love, and it came out of something that was so ugly and disgusting, but they were able to make something, one of the greatest gifts, in my opinion, to humanity through this music. And I think that's why people love it. And I've gone to many remote parts of the world where people want to do this. I mean, I'm getting a lot of students that study with me now coming from China. I have a student from Taiwan, from Thailand, We get a lot of students from Israel and Korea. I mean, we have students from all over the world that want to come and study this music, and it's because of how it makes them feel, not necessarily intellectually, but they're getting from it, the spiritual aspect of it. And it's pretty amazing. I had a student from Korea, and I told him, I said, you want to get deeper into this music, you have to go to the African American church. And he's one of the few that did it.
Really?
He joined the church band. He got really close with the church musicians.
Wow.
And he just did his senior recital, and he brought some of those church guys to his recital, and almost was in tears.
Wow.
You know, because he really dug into what the music is really about, and he thanked me. He didn't have to thank me, but it was just like, wow.
That's
One of them actually did what I asked him to do. And,
He listened.
They're doing, you know, they were receiving the fruits of their labor, and he's going to be the one that goes back to Korea and teach people about jazz. He's going to teach them about not just the music, but about the people that created this music and the conditions in which created this music, because he went that deep. And that's all I want my students to do when they come from different places, to know this music comes from a people, and it comes from a condition. You know, they study jazz history, and they'll talk about a little bit about Middle Passage, and they'll talk about Congo Square and New Orleans and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, music on the continent of Africa had a purpose. Everything, a child is born, the sun is down, you know, we're about to go to war, somebody died, you know, and that's what the music is. The people that play jazz, it was a purpose. It was to uplift themselves. And it comes from the gospel tradition. It's just a mix of all of these things that created this great art form. And like I said, that's why I think people gravitate towards it, because they feel it.
Right.
It's something, you're exposing yourself. You're becoming naked. You're just giving everything you have to people. And when people gravitate to that, you can play anything.
That's nice. What brings you joy?
Dude, talk about I mean, you know, man, you know, sometimes I'm in my head, and you know, I don't always have the positive thoughts that I try to be. You know, I try to be in harmony and balance and all the time. But you know, lately I'm trying my best not to think so much and just be in the moment. You know, like I'm in my kung fu school right now. The class is going on upstairs. I've been doing martial arts for many years, but I feel like I'm a total beginner. Like I take private lessons. And I told my teacher, I said, as much as I know a lot of stuff, but I want to, in my lessons, I want to start from the beginning. I want to just, you know, to patch up holes that I have. And that's a real ego trip. You know, they talk about Eastern philosophy to empty your cup, because if your cup is too full, you can't accept anything. So I just say, you know what, Hart, empty your cup. It's not for anybody else, it's for you. So you're taking these lessons and start from the beginning and get these things together and grow. And don't worry about the journey. I mean, don't worry about the ending results. Enjoy the journey that you're on. You know, you have this opportunity to study with a great master. So, and then I approach music that way too. It's like when I play, at this stage in the game, I've recorded with so many people over the last 30 years. And if people don't think I can play, they never will. You know, it's just like, I just want to enjoy. When I pick up my saxophone and play, I want to play with good people that are in tune with making good music, but not like having our heads up our butts where we're like, yo, you don't understand. It's just like I want as much as I want to give to the audience, I need to give something back to me. You know, and it's us going on a journey together. That's when I feel the best. Like one of my mentors besides Jimmy Heath was the great James Lewis, who wrote "Move for Love." You know that song. Everybody's recording this particular song. I watched them sing this song every night for about 10 years.
Wow.
And, you know, and I'm like, but this guy gets tired of singing this song. You know, but every night, and I'm not lying to you, every night it was a home run. And it was like he sang it for the first time every night. And, I mean, people knew the words. I mean, I knew the words. I knew even his mannerisms. I knew what he was going to do while he sang the song. And it always left me with a smile on my face. And that was a very, very important lesson. And he called me right before he died. I was probably one of the last people he called.
Wow.
And he spoke to me. I'm going to get into the story, but I was going to get a haircut, and my barber wasn't there, which is rare. So I said, let me stand outside my car. And the phone rang, and his number came up. And I thought, you know, his wife was telling me that he passed, very sick. And then it hung up, then it called, the phone rang again. and it was him on the phone. And he talked to me for about 30 minutes. I just sat in my car. Mind you, my barber's always there. I'm always in a chair. This is how God works. I'm sitting in the car, and he's telling me about how he feels about me. He's telling me things he wants me to do, life lessons. And then at the very end, he's like, I was thinking about this song, and I was telling my wife, Linda, about this song. He's like, the words or something like that. I love you, and don't you forget it. I love you, and don't you forget it. And then he started singing, I love you, and don't you forget it. He said it about 30 times, and I'm sitting in my car just crying.
Wow.
And that was the last time I spoke to him. And just, those kind of things, being around those kind of masters and that amazing musicians that they're givers. My teacher to me, I'm going to see him tonight. He's 92 years old. And just love.
Right.
They love what they do, and everything they do has love in it, has integrity, has spirit in it. And they don't go around saying I'm Christian or I'm Buddhist or I'm blood. They don't even, they don't profess any of that stuff. But they're more spiritual and more in tune to the Creator than some of these guys that walk around with the Bibles and profess and this and this and that.
Hey, Antonio, I hate to cut you off, but we're going to have you come back and talk some more because we have another guest instead.
You're awesome.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jazz saxophonist Antonio Hart. You have to check out his website, AntonioHartMusic.com. His CD is Blessings. It came out a couple years ago. It's wonderful. We've been running some singles from it. So thank you.
I bought it.
Thank you so much, Antonio. Enjoy your Kung Fu class. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break and be back with the vintage Contessa.
The fashionista. Oh, God bless him. He loves.
I know. I was like, Antonio,
awesome.
wrap
I had
up.
more questions for him, but he
like,
talked and was elaborating very well.
He didn't need the question.
No, he didn't.
But you know what? He really is fascinating. And the fact that I know somebody who was nominated for Grammy, I feel all that. I mean, really, because when I talk to him, he's just like regular guy, but I'm like, he's a big deal. Like, he's a big deal.
Does he come here often?
He doesn't come. He's never come to Houston to play. So I need Society for Performing. Was it Performing Arts?
HSPBA.
No, not HSPBA. Society, the one that does a jazz series downtown. They need to bring Antonio Hart to play Houston. I'm just
Okay,
just going to put that out there.
Put it in the universe.
Put it out there.
Happen.
Yes. So he's never played. Houston.
Yeah, I wanted to know how hard is it to teach to different foreign countries. I wanted to ask. That was my question. Like,
because he's always
from Tokyo to Korea or all these other foreigners.
You see him on Facebook, and he's always in, especially in Asia. They love him. They love jazz, and so he's always over there. And
that's not even his song.
And he doesn't speak the language, and the common language is music. So it's just fascinating.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
How that can be communicated.
What's your favorite music?
I'm such a Texas girl. I love old country.
Do you really?
That is my favorite.
You talking about Kenny Rogers? Old country?
Like, what do you
like Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings. And really old. In the 70s, we used to travel in a motorhome for our vacations, and my dad had an 8-track.
A motorhome?
Motorhome. I don't even think they make those anymore.
No, the guy with the dog has a motorhome.
But it's and so it just takes me back to my youth and to something that was
to 40. We're going to
happy
come back
family.
at 45, and we're going to take it all the way up.
Yeah,
Okay,
and we'll just talk to her the whole time. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah.
And I like Willie Nelson. He's newer country, I guess. But
Willie Nelson? He's kind of long in the tooth, isn't he?
He is pretty old too.
Yeah. Yes.
George.
I do like George Strait.
Do you?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then the Texas country guys. Lyle Lovett isn't, but
I can't.
Jerry
Every time I
Jeff
hear Lyle
Walker,
Lovett,
that
I
kind
think
of
of
stuff.
him being caught nude.
Nude
Yes.
where? Where was he caught nude?
He was caught drunk nude.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah.
When was
He was
that?
arrested.
When was that?
That was like a year or two.
He's
years
not
ago.
somebody I would want to see.
I would
nude.
not know.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
But we saw,
not a
so
looker.
Lyle Lovett and Robert O'Keefe went to A&M. I'm an Aggie, oddly,
I
I
didn't know
know. And
I
they
went to the
used
last
to play
bonfire.
together. And they played together in Colorado when we were there. We got to see them. And I think it was one of my favorite concerts ever.
Yeah.
And I've seen the Stones and U2 and like all that, but I just love old country. It fills my heart. I think whatever you grew up with, and I understand what he's saying about that passion, that connection to it. I think that's what communicates to different languages, is that passion for the music and feeling that emotion. Yeah. And for some reason, country calms me.
Really?
And maybe that's what people find jazz
girl.
does.
So I grew up with listening to OG jazz. My dad was a big into Charlie Parker and Miles and the Booker T and the MGs, all these. So I used to listen to all that. But then I grew up with Michael Jackson and Prince. Okay. So those are
those your favorites?
Yeah, Prince.
Okay.
I'm a Prince fanatic.
I mean,
I'm a Prince. I have a Prince room in my house.
You do.
I have a Prince room.
I love this book.
Yes.
Purple Rain.
Yes. No, before that. I was
even before Purple Rain?
Oh, yes, before Purple Rain. Because Purple Rain, he went mainstream.
So that's true.
Yeah, so
I was star in the house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were doing the vintage Contessa.
Aw. And Bella's friend and her were reading it yesterday, and they said, your mom sure looks tall in this image. I said, well, your book doesn't have to match your image. They said I look tall.
All right.
I said, it could be what I want to be.
Oops. So we're just going to have a whole conversation about
Welcome back, everybody. You are listening to The Joyful Life with Joy Sewing and Todd Ramos on amazing 102.5 FM.
We have a super stylish, super nice person in our studio who goes by she's called the Vintage Contessa, and her name is Donae.
Donae.
Hello.
It's so, I love her name. It's very Donae. Pronounce your last name.
Chramosta.
It's so like it sounds like an Italian dish that I want to eat.
She is a dish.
And I am Italian. I just did Ancestry.com.
And she is spicy.
37% Sicilian, so look out.
Wow.
I know. And a little Irish, so I'm a little hot-blooded.
Welcome.
Okay, tell us, what is the Vintage Contessa and how did it come about?
It came about, I actually didn't start doing this until 10 years ago. Before that, I worked with my family business. We own a marble and granite company. But my husband's a watch dealer and diamond dealer, and I'd started going to shows with him, and wherever we traveled, I was on search of my favorite accessory, and I'd often find them pre-owned, vintage, bring them back for myself, and then my friends started saying, oh, well, where can I get that? And I started buying for my friends, and it's really where my passion is. I always love fashion. I know that's cheesy. Fashion is my passion.
Like a treasure hunt, literally.
Yes, but so it just truly came from a love of it and chasing after it myself and following fashion trends, and so now I get to travel all over the world and look for interesting things in interesting places.
I love that. And we have a couple of pieces here. So
what all do you carry? Yeah. What do you have?
We have handbags, jewelry, watches, diamonds, all sorts of interesting pieces.
All designers, too.
Yeah. And mostly luxury designer pieces. We carry mostly Hermes, Chanel, and Louis Vuitton. And what we're doing here is there's such a big trend with personalizing. It's really come about. And you've seen it, I think, the biggest brand to do it in a significant way with the patches and the graffiti is Gucci. And when we were in Asia, it was just exploding over there. So I came back and wanted to find a designer to work with. And Han Tran is an amazing artist. I actually worked with her, commissioned a piece for my birthday.
She was beautiful.
Oh, wow.
I wore a floral dress, which is another big trend, and she painted on the flowers, and we took old vintage Italian postcards, and everyone wrote something that made them think of me, and she translated it into art. And it turned out to be this great piece. You can come to my showroom and see it. And I started thinking about how cool that is if you could translate it to your pieces, to your accessories. People are doing it with jackets, are doing it in their clothes. And so we're doing a big event on Wednesday night at Baccarat at River Oaks District if you want to come by. But we're doing it on your own bag. So you don't have to buy a bag from me.
Okay.
It could be initials. It could be a painting. But it's a great way to make something unique to your own and to pass it on as a heritage.
Sure.
That's a cool idea.
Well, you know what? I would imagine it's hard because you're finding these vintage pieces to let go of something.
It is. So I feel like they're all my foster children that I only have for a while, but I want to find good homes for them. So I get emotionally attached to some pieces. But really, in fact, that's how kind of the book came along with my daughter, is because Bella's so exposed to so many luxury things. I wanted to tell a story about a mother and daughter planning a big extravagant event together, and then finding out that life's not about extravagances, but it is found in really just the special moments. And so while we were writing it, she chose one of her girlfriends who lives in New York. And while we were writing the book, Scarlett was diagnosed with cancer. So we included cancer in the book, and now we give part of the proceeds to pediatric cancer. And I've really made different charities part of our whole journey with our business. I mean, people don't need luxury goods. They don't need things in their life. It makes them happy. But I've tried to partner with a lot of different charities and doing amazing things.
So the book is called The Vintage Contessa and Princessa. The illustrations are by Marina Saba. And where can people get the book?
They can buy it online at our website, thevintagecontessa.com, and in our store.
Fantastic.
I have a question.
Yes.
How can you spot a fake?
Ooh, good question.
We actually have a few blog posts about that you can read more about online. But it comes to the stitching, the way the bag patinas and wears, the weight of the bag, oddly sometimes even the smell of the bag.
Really?
There's a certain smell to...
Like a new car smell almost?
Yes, exactly, versus a fake leather or a fake canvas. But each brand has a specific way. Like we sell a lot of Cartier love bracelets. There's 6 different signatures that go on the interior of the love bracelet.
Really?
Wow.
So it really comes down to... I'm a big advocate of the book Outliers. It talks about you become an expert after spending 10,000 hours doing something, which is a lot of hours.
Oh my gosh. I think I've gotten that on a couple of things. So yes.
Yes. But my husband's an expert on that, and he knows a lot about it. And I think I've translated it into the bag part of the business. So it really comes down to just doing it a lot and seeing different things.
Is it hard working with your husband? No, not putting you on the spot with him in here, but
Well, Bella's here. Maybe she can tell us. She can give us the real deal.
I think it is definitely challenging because we're both 2 type A people. So as long as he knows that I'm right all the time, there's never an argument. No, but aside from that, truly, I'm more the face of the business. I'm out in the community, connecting with people, marketing. I can help with all of our, the way that we present our business. And he can do a lot of the legwork and knows a lot about the business side of it. So I think it's great to the extent that you can trust your partner the most of anyone in life. But it's also hard if you have a misunderstanding at work, like he might think that he's right and I'm wrong. And then we go home at night. So, yes. So that's why we have a glass of wine together at night, to try to take the tension off.
All right. So Jennifer Homan?
Yes.
She says you have the most amazing Houstonian on your show.
Aww.
Aww. So
Thanks, Jennifer.
She says, Donae is the real deal.
I do love her. She and I are working together on Houston 20, and that is my biggest passion right now.
Tell us what that is.
Yes.
It's a group of women coming together to really spread around the community that we want to stop sex trafficking. And we are out trying to educate, and we are connecting with senators and congressmen. She had the honor of representing us in our mission this week in D.C., where they signed into a bill, FOSTA and SESTA, together to start holding accountable the real culprits, the Johns, the pimps, and not the girls that are brought into this. And yes, there are some people in prostitution that make that choice, but together with Crime Stoppers, we're trying to go out into the community and really educate people out there on how this is happening. This is not just happening to the immigrants or to the people and families where people don't care. It's happening on Facebook and on Snapchat, and there's ways that we can protect our kids. So together, Houston 20 and Crime Stoppers are really trying to make an impact there. And that's what I was saying earlier. All this other stuff doesn't matter, but I use it. I mean, it makes us feel good and it's great.
Sure.
But in the end, it's really about taking care of our community. And I admire so much what you're doing, Joy, with your community, because I feel like that's what makes the real difference in these school shootings that are happening. For us to be aware of mental health, that's so much of what this is about, is the child who's reaching out for help and not getting it, the different one in the group, and how to deal with that. Even Bella has run into some situations with kids at her school, so it's not with bullying or different things. So I think all as a community, Crime Stoppers is going out to educate. Houston 20 is doing a lot to help. There's a big gap in the way that we take care of kids coming out of sex trafficking, and we just funded to add 8 more beds for these young kids. They're targeting kids 12 to 14 years old.
What is the biggest misconception?
The misconception is it's stranger danger. The misconception is they're grabbing you on the way to the park.
Right.
And that is happening, and we need to be aware. But the real challenge is they're grooming kids through social media.
Right.
They're going out into schools and giving key children drugs and alcohol and giving it to other kids, isolating them from their families, and pulling them into this. So it's a very long process, but because it's attached to so much of the drug rings, there's big money behind it, and it's the way it's evolving. But huge things are happening that we should feel really grateful for. We just closed down Backpage, which was a big effort. And we were talking earlier about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. That is even something that he mentioned. Now that we are closing down and holding accountable these online sites that are prostituting these kids, there's going to be a change in how prevalent it is and how much people can access it. But everyone can come together, and I think that's important, is a lot of parents or even people in the community out there saying, what can I do? After a school shooting, how can I help? Be aware, stay connected with the community, call the Crime Stoppers anonymous tip line. We have that offered in every school too. If every child in the school would call anonymously and look at the police and the people as people who are helping in the community, I think we could achieve so much together.
And I think one thing you touched upon is really knowing your community, and one thing with even being a part of the civic association, just getting out and knowing your neighbors and knowing who the children are, and knowing and having just kind of like a watch that you're looking out for each other and paying attention. And I think too often we get so drowned into our social media and all of our just this technology, and we don't look up and see what's happening around us and what's happening to our children. And I think also is that people assume that it's always in the bad neighborhood that it's happening. That's always in the rundown, bad neighborhood. And in the Galleria area is one of some of the largest places where sex trafficking is happening, right?
It is. It's happening in all of our middle class neighborhoods too.
Cinco Ranch has had an issue.
Yes.
TSU had an issue. I mean, there's many.
Memorial, River Oaks,
everywhere.
West U. It is not. No one is safe from it. But as a community, if we come together, it's true with everything, right? And I truly believe that literacy is a big component of it. I'm working with a lot of different groups. I write. There's also literacy groups working with other countries. The more people that can read and write and express themselves, the better our entire country can be.
Tell me something. You have a luncheon coming up, the Crime Stoppers Luncheon. Mention that real quickly.
We do. It is on May the 3rd, and I'm humbly accepting the honor of being a hero for
congratulations
schools in the way we're getting out there. But the real heroes are the students who are getting together to work on making their schools, because really they know what's going on. They know who's challenged. The governor is aware of this. He's working closely with Crime Stoppers to try to get more information out there. So I could say we offer free services at Crime Stoppers to come to your school. Please go to our website, call the tip line if you have something, and do your part in your community.
What's the website?
The website is crimestoppers.com.
Okay, one last question.
.org, sorry.
One last question, because we only have a minute. What brings you joy? Quickly.
Hit it.
Hit it.
Family.
Ah.
Family brings me joy.
How do we get a hold of you?
TheVintageContessa.com and follow me on Instagram.
All right. Okay.
You are awesome.
You are a vintage
Houston,
Contessa.
You're a Houston treasure, lady.
Donae,
Congratulations.
thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. We'll have to have you come back later on in the season.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Thank you.
All right, Todd.
All right, Joy.
Have a great
Have
week.
a joyful week.
everyone. Bye.
Boy, that goes
It
fast.
does go fast.
Thank you, everybody.
Is it okay? Should I go on too long?
You know,
No, you're
you're great.
awesome,
You're
baby.
great. You're great. You're
Okay.